The global powers' recognition of China doesn't mean they see Taiwan as a Chinese province. China has diplomatic relationships with most countries in the world. Taiwan has with only more than 10, and it's not a member of the United Nations. So most people believe that major powers also treat Taiwan as part of China. The Chinese Communist Party requires that countries recognizing the PRC also see Taiwan as a part of China.
The Taiwan question is at the core of China's core interests. And the One China principle has long become a universally recognized norm governing international relations.
It claims worldwide agreement on this view. Switching diplomatic recognition from the government in Taipei to the one in Beijing doesn't equal accepting Taiwan as China's province. Quite the opposite. I am going to prove to you now. By the end of this episode, you'll know more than most world leaders on this topic. The 1950s, after Kuomintang's retreat from China to Taiwan, in the early 1950s began the shift in diplomatic recognition from Taipei to Beijing. Nearly 50 countries switched recognition then, mainly those aligned with the Soviet Union. Interestingly, the United Kingdom also recognized the People's Republic of China, PRC at that time. The 1970s, the second wave occurred over a decade later. First, in the early 70s, the United Nations expelled the Republic of China. It replaced it with the People's Republic of China.
The 79-year-old leader was in frail health, but the lively hour-long meeting included philosophy, history, and banter. Mao said, "I voted for you during your last election."
Then at the end of that decade came the diplomatic switch. Once friendly nations turned their backs, leaving Taiwan a pariah state on the world stage. After extensive research, we will now reveal what even most experts don't know. What diplomatic documents tell us? The wording of those documents shows a big difference. The CCP and the West have different views of them. Western understanding of the normalization documents. The key document for normalizing relations is the 1972 Shanghai communiqué, signed by China and the US. The part that interests us is the following one. The United States acknowledges that all Chinese on either side of the Taiwan Strait maintain there is but one China, and that Taiwan is a part of China, and the United States government does not challenge that position. The main point here is the word acknowledge, rather than accept or agree with. Other countries that shifted their ties from Taiwan to China were less accepting of China's stance. Similarly, the governments of Canada and Japan, along with those of Chile and Italy, simply stated they take note of China's position. Other governments used the word respect the Chinese position. 6 years earlier, the French government was even less concerned about China's feelings. On January 27, 1964, both countries established diplomatic ties. Remarkably, the agreement didn't mention Taiwan. Prime Minister Edgar Faure, who represented President de Gaulle, confirmed there were no conditions regarding Taiwan. As you can see from those sources, diplomatic relations with Beijing don't imply recognizing Taiwan as China's province. Now the Chinese understanding of the normalization documents, the Chinese government didn't translate the normalization document literally, but in a way that supports its propaganda. And so the English acknowledges, in Chinese, ren shi, is translated as recognizes or accepts. In Chinese, cheng ren. So now comes the best part, the one you've been waiting for, the implementation of those agreements. How do we know that the US and other powers don't agree with the CCP's view on Taiwan being a part of China? We examine the implementation of the normalization documents. And so, first, the US doesn't sell weapons and arms to Chinese provinces, but it does so to Taiwan. Second, both the US and the EU grant Taiwanese citizens visa waivers for a 3-month stay, but they don't do so for Chinese citizens. Third, the US government does not interfere in internal Chinese politics. But it did so in 1995 and 1996 during the Taiwan Strait crisis. It deployed its aircraft carriers to protect Taiwan.
That we are in this part of the world right now is because of what's going on between, in the Taiwanese Straits between China and Taiwan. And we are here to ensure the stability and ensure that that is all done peacefully.
Fourth, China and Taiwan were separately accepted by the WTO. We can conclude the following about major global powers' treatment of Taiwan. First, according to the diplomatic agreements, major global powers don't share China's view on Taiwan. Second, according to their actions, major global powers do not treat Taiwan as a Chinese province. Please let me know what you think in the comments, and I will appreciate your like a lot. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in another video.